Hello there, my name is Michael Maynard and welcome back to Gorilla Picking. Now, we've got an exciting one today guys. We have what I'm pretty sure is a world first pick. This is a thing called the Ruko Merkur 401. So let's just give you a look at it. It's an absolutely beautiful lock, and I'll do a proper review on this later, but it's made by Assa D12, of course, so Assa own the Ruko brand. And the Merkur 401, well, they call it a medium security lock, and I think that that's right actually by Assa standards. So by anybody else's standards, this is a high security lock, but Assa they've just raised the bar a little bit, okay? Now it's 6 pins, okay, and you wouldn't really know that looking at the key. So if you have a close look at that key, you'll actually see that there are 12 cuts on there, and that's because each pin is asymmetric. These aren't round pins, they are chiselled with 2 different bittings. Now, in actual fact, that doesn't make a massive difference to the picking of the lock itself. So the drivers in here are 6 standard Ruko spools, which, as you guys know, are an absolute bitch to pick at the best of times. So the Ruko spools really are the main challenge with the bitting, except to say that because each pin has 2 peaks on it, it's actually quite hard to figure out what's going on inside the lock. So you need to sort of work a little bit to understand the feedback. So that's the first technical challenge. The second technical challenge is that the keyway on this thing is an absolute bear, and I think probably that's the reason that this lock has never been picked on film before. This isn't an easy lock to get through, okay? So it's a bit like the old Assa D12. In fact, it's very much like the Assa D12 in that the keyway is dead straight at the top, but very paracentric indeed, with all the gubbins down the bottom. So you don't have a lot of, well, you've got virtually no space to move. And if the bitting is difficult like this one is, and when we get into this, you'll see that pin 4 sets very low indeed, and pin 5 up behind it, and to a lesser extent pin 6 are much steeper. So if you've got difficult bitting, then figuring your way through this keyway is an absolute stone cold ocean going nightmare. Now you can't really tell that the bitting is that difficult by looking at this key, and that's one of the stated aims of this lock. But they've got these 12 cuts here at the very least to make it more difficult to sight read the bitting of the key. It also opens up a myriad more bitting combinations, obviously, but we'll talk about that another time when I do the review. Now the third challenge is tensioning this thing, and just for the record folks, I have removed this horrible deformable clip thing on the back here, and I've just got it loosely hanging there. Okay, that's because it's a nightmare to get off when you picked it, right? So that's why I'm playing with this. Okay, so back to the keyway. It is a nightmare to tension because you can't. Well, you can get a standard top of the keyway wrench in there, but if you do, you then block all the real estate that you need to get around the warding and pick these difficult pins. So I have had to manufacture a slightly different tension tool, and the tension with these Ruko pins, absolutely crucial. You just can't, for various reasons, pick this with anything but the very best tension control, and therefore I've made a tension tool here, which I might discuss later, but the bottom line is this thing is half the secret to picking it. In terms of other tools we're going to use, only high precision picks will work in this lock. I am using the multi-pick elite stuff. This is the 0.4, these are the 0.4 picks, so they're very thin ones. We're using the V06 short hook and the V31 steep hook with the bizarre profile. So these are the ones that have got scalloped out bits just behind the hook. Fantastic picks, and frankly, at the moment anyway, there's nothing else commercial that touches these. The feedback that you get through these is incredible, which is what this lock needs. So, having said all of that and raved about this thing, let's now get into it. Okay folks, well let's get this thing done. So the tension tool is already in there, and that's a friction fit. Now I am going to go quiet because this is an incredibly difficult lot to pick, and I can pick or I can talk, you know, but I can't do both. Okay, well we've got some clicking out of almost everything, and all feedback has stopped, so that suggests to me that one of these back pins needs some work. Whether or not I did what needed doing there, I genuinely don't know yet. Let's just try that again. Okay, yeah, big click out of 5 this time. Alright, let's keep going. Nothing happening here, and I can't feel. Oh, big click on 3, big click on 2, click on 1, another click on 1. Okay, we're in countermilling, guys. If I sound excited, it's because I am a little bit. Okay, getting no feet. Got a tiny bit of feedback out of 3. Drop some other stuff to do it though, so I've just got to go and get back whatever I dropped. Oh, and we're open. Okay. Right, that went a little bit more easily than I expected, but we got there. Okay, so now what we got to do is strip this thing while it still remains in frame, so you guys can know that it was legitimately picked. So we do need to do this in real time, obviously, folks, so it is a little bit more, you know, kind of tedious than it might otherwise be. We do have the key, so again, let's just demonstrate that the key works. You can see it doing its thing there. Alright, so let's get that circlip off. That little cam can come off as well. Now let's get the key in, and ignore my phone, I'm certainly going to. And let's get a shim in there. We really don't want to make a botch of disassembling this thing. Okay, so the first thing I'd like to show you is that we've got all of the key pins there. You can see that I've put some blue pen on the forward part of each pin, just so I knew while I was progressively pinning this thing which way around everything went. Now I will dump the key pins reasonably brutally, I think. So we've got 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. And just to show you one of those pins in more detail, let's have a look at 4, which is the one that gives us all the trouble. This is the really long one, and you can see that there's a little wing on each pin, so it locates it in the core so that the thing can't rotate, and then instead of coming to a point, it comes to a 2-part chisel point. So that's where the 2 different bits of the bitting come from. Again, we'll go into that in more detail when I do a detailed review of this thing. Here is the core with all the countermilling. You can see that every chamber is countermilled as you would expect from a Ruko. And now the top pins. So pretty standard sort of stuff actually. They are all, when they're not pinging away from me, they're all this type here, and there's not really much else that needs to be said about them. I suppose we could talk about the fact that they're balanced pin stacks, but you guys kind of know that. There we go, there's the last of them. So, there we are folks, we have got a Merkur, is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, an Assa Ruko Merkur 401, well and truly picked. Thanks for watching guys, my name is Michael Maynard, this is Gorilla Picking, and that is a fantastic lock that does a lot with a very little. Thanks guys.